Hello, beautiful strangers, and welcome back to another episode of Sakura no Mori Dreamers. When last we left off, we found out we were seeing ghosts, and which is totally not weird at all. We found out that somebody might be dead, somebody that we don't really know. But we did see their ghost, and we met this strange person here who was totally not a character for us to romance later in the game. Once I say that now, and watch that this game doesn't actually have romance scenes, which it does. I'm pretty sure. That was one of the things that's in the VNDV. Anyway, let's get back into it, shall we? So where are we going? She asked as soon as I caught up. There's an Italian restaurant called Forza. That's gonna trick me every time. Every time I'm gonna think of the game series. I don't even play Forza, but you know, whatever. I didn't know where it was though. I was about to tell her that when... You mean Forza Sakura no Mori? Is everything in this town just called Sakura no Mori something or something Sakura no Mori? No, whatever. I think so. You know it? Yes, I go there a lot. Oh, it's perfect then. I didn't know its exact location. It's in the Hazakura shopping district. You can see it as soon as you get there. I've been there a bunch of times, but I don't recall seeing it. You're not very interested in places like that? It's nice, the menu's tasty, and most importantly, cheap. Random aside, I've actually heard slightly weird things about Japanese Italian places, and that pretty much all of them tend to be like fusion style. I'm not sure the truth of that, but I've heard that from enough people that I think it's probably likely, and that's always been sort of odd to me, and I kind of want to try it because I've heard it's a lot of stuff like that you don't normally put on pasta, like soy sauce and varying kinds of simmered Japanese meats styled or meat simmered in a more of a Japanese style or cooked in more of a Japanese style, like octopus and soy sauce on pizza and stuff like that. Again, not sure of the exact validity of that, as I've not actually researched it, but I've heard that offhandedly from enough people that I at least somewhat believe it. Her appearance made you think she could be hot, cold, and high-strung, but she seemed to actually be quite laid back and friendly. Does she give the appearance of being cold and high-strung? I guess. Maybe a bit cold because of the dark hair and kind of reddish eyes, but Then again, I'm never... well. That said, the situation was a bit weird. I was going to a restaurant with a girl I'd never even talked to before. Though that was true to Tono as well, I spent my entire day looking for someone I barely knew. You think we'll find Tono there? Possibly. It was apparently one of her favorite places. Again with the fan. That's going to have some deep dark meaning behind it, isn't it? Oh well. I had to admit that sounded weird as she cocked her head. With no proper leads, we were just heading there in hopes of randomly finding her. We reached the Hazakura shopping district. There it is. Welcome. We passed through the doors and looked around. Doesn't seem like she's here. Apparently. We were probably looking for different things, but it was true that I couldn't see Tono either. Would you like a table for two? Huh? Please follow me. And the waitress began guiding us without waiting for a reply. We exchanged startled looks. Well, we can have a cup of tea at least, I suppose. Oh, I do apologize if any voices that I do, I probably should have mentioned this last episode. Oh well, are even more inconsistent than usual. My throat is kind of not great. It doesn't hurt, but I can feel that my throat is not how it should be. I think it's just the, weather and my allergies, because it's in the 70s at the well, not at the moment. It was in the 70s in the high today, and tomorrow it's supposed to, at like noonish, it's supposed to be in the mid 70s. And then it's supposed to drop to like the 50s by the evening and then stay there. So, yeah. I don't do well with large changes in weather. She smiled. I would take her up on a cup of tea, though. I could go for a cup of tea. I noticed that the sharpness in her eyes disappeared completely when she did that. Yeah, might as well. Oh, out of curiosity, does OBS still break when I... Yes, it does. Huh. Okay. Good to know. I will try to avoid opening that. Is there a backlog proper? Yes. Okay. So if I want to reread something, I will go into the backlog, because if I scroll up, OBS gets pissy about that. Interesting. Man, there is something about this visual novel and OBS. They do not get along. Just as Kirito said, it seemed like a quite popular restaurant. It was packed with people. I could spot a lot of students from our school in their uniforms. We ended up drinking tea together, but we didn't have anything to talk about. Kirito seemed like she was trying to think of a suitable subject as she absent-mindedly played with the fan in her hand. I've never seen anyone carry a folding fan in this season. Yeah, well, it's of course more useful during the summer, but Kirito's fan cuts through the air with a nice sound. I just like it. Oh, I'd never heard anyone say they liked folding fans before. Really? That's odd. Even I have, and I am in the fucking States, and I've seen people that collect folding fans. Maybe it's because of my penchant for, well, old penchant. I don't really have it anymore because I don't go places. But penchant for going to antique stores and weird specialty shops and shit like that. Kirito gave me a somewhat embarrassed smile. May not look too natural with the uniform, but when combined with the kimono. Kimono? You actually wear that? At home, yes. Wow. I gave her another surprised look. Does that sound unusual to you? I've never seen anyone wear one outside of ceremonies and stuff. Oh? I think the kimonos are not that bad, personally. Really? I heard they're pretty airy, so it's never hot in one. Yes, I've actually heard the same thing. I've heard they are quite comfortable once you actually get one on. Not necessarily that. I just like the feeling they give. I've also heard about the other things about what you are and are not supposed to wear underneath one, but, you know, I have Scottish, well, I've known Scottish people, and so I also know what you're supposed to and not supposed to wear under a kilt, so, you know, let's just move along, shall we? What's so funny? Kirito gave me a puzzled look. I apologized, still laughing, and took a sip of water. Oh, you're not drinking tea? How disappointing. I had no idea what her position in our class was, but she was a peculiar one indeed. In a good way, of course. Besides her fashion sense, she was talking with a guy she didn't know, looking for a missing girl she didn't know. Did she mention that she doesn't know? Or did she mention that, or are we just making assumptions? Anyway. She was almost as weird as me. Quite a statement, if I say so myself. Thank you for waiting. Here's your cocoa. I was promised tea. Thanks. I do like cocoa. I had some the other day. But I was promised tea. And blended coffee. I believe those were all your orders. Please take your time. Kirito gave me a serious look as the waitress walked away. So, what are you planning to do about Tono? You couldn't find her here. Are you planning to continue looking for her tomorrow? I spun my spoon as I fell and thought. Tono's parents must have been worried sick. It seemed like so far I was the only one aware of the truth, but I still couldn't quite think of a realistic way to convey that information to them. But I felt like I couldn't leave this business unfinished. Yeah. You really are a strange one, aren't you? Rather than taunting, those words rung in a warm, friendly tone. I answered her with a smile. I don't think you're that much better than me on that account. Me? Why? You're randomly curious about Tono too, aren't you? That was a very... Hold on a moment. I forgot to turn my headphones down, I guess, or something. That was very loud in my ears. What is it? I kicked my leg against the table, making the cups clatter. Kirisu followed my gaze to the entrance. Ignoring her confusion, I followed Tono with my eyes. It was like the area she was in was torn from the cheerful atmosphere of the restaurant. No one looked at her. She advanced to the crowd without touching anyone. Ukigami? Sorry, give me a moment. Tono advanced straight ahead, stopping in front of the kitchen, and then stared into it. Her profile appeared lonely and melancholic like before. Something in the kitchen? There was a slit through which plates were handed, but I couldn't see inside. The tension passed, and I leaned against the seat. Kirito regarded me with a serious look in her eyes. Sorry for acting a bit weird there. No, I see you sometimes act like you can see things others can't. It was just the same way in the classroom this morning. I was at a loss for what to say. I'd never been faced with this kind of dilemma before. I've never told anyone I can see ghosts, not even Hatsune or Miss Miyako. But I felt like Kirito might understand. Okay, that's a decision to make, sure. It was weird to feel that way about a girl that I knew for barely an hour, but there was one thing on which it seemed we were very much alike. It happened when Kirito, realizing I was about to say something important, leaned toward me. It's me. Oh, it's you, Grandpa. Hello. Huh? You want to know how to set the timer to record your show later? How many times do I have to explain it to you? No, it's not that button. Okay, I got it. Kirito stuffed her phone back into her bag, uttering words like geez and his stupid history shows again. Hey, I take offense to that. I'm sorry, but I think I'm going to head back home for today. Okay. We'll be continuing this tomorrow, right? That sounded more like a confirmation than a question. I nodded, and Kirito smiled in return. See you tomorrow. Leaving her share of the bill on the table, she pranced out of the restaurant. Feeling half disappointed, half relieved, I emptied the remainder of my coffee. I shifted my eyes back to the kitchen, but Tono was no longer there. I looked for a while until I realized there was just a single person, the chef, in there. I asked the waitress about it as she came to refill my water. Yes, we only have one chef. It's the owner, Miss Moriyasu, was the answer I received. I spent a whole hour sipping water, but Tono never reappeared. Kirito was quite the looker, wasn't she? Huh? Yeah, I guess so. Though I bet she already has a boyfriend or 3 when she looks like that. What do you think? I don't know. I talked to her for the first time today. Well, I guess you'll learn sooner or later. Huh? I mean, you already had tea together and you seemed quite into her. We didn't have tea, unfortunately. I don't know. It was fun, I guess. I think you should try to build on this and see where this goes. What do you mean? This meeting, I mean, you may be classmates, but you've got no other connection, right? Yet somehow you found a common goal. I think you should utilize this good luck and nurture this relationship, don't you agree? I don't know. No? I'm being serious, you know. What's up with you anyway? It's like there's something on your mind. Yeah. I was wondering why Tona was watching the kitchen like that. It looks delicious. Is that not what her expression looked like? Rather than food, she was looking at the chef that worked there. And I would explain it. Yeah, I think so too. It's possible that she... Madoka paused mid-sentence. She was trying to say that it was possible that the chef killed her. I couldn't accuse anyone without proof, of course. As such, I had no choice but to look for it. It was the only way for her to rest in peace. Still, I wonder where I could find something like that. I think he's suspicious too. How does one go about gathering evidence of a crime? We brainstormed for some time. When you speak of crimes and investigation, the first thing that comes to mind is a detective. Detective? Why are you making that face? I only know one person like that, and... Hey, he calls himself a detective, so he probably knows how to do the job despite how he looks. You're being rude. But you feel the same way. Yeah. I had no idea how good a detective he was, but I couldn't recall ever seeing a single customer at that agency. Yeah, I guess it won't hurt to at least ask him, or at least talk to him. Let's do that. I hope he doesn't charge for a consultation. The scary part was that I couldn't quite reject the idea outright. It seemed like they were starting to develop the area near the station. I could see cranes everywhere. Really? I don't see any. And there, beyond a narrow door and dark stairs in one of the run-down buildings, rested a detective agency. I knocked on the door with a Garota's Detective Agency sign on the dirty glass. Come in, it's open. Oh, let's see how you've changed, if at all. Not at all. Hide, you're still doing that? I'm just doing a handstand. I can tell. I'm not the brightest guy in the room, alright? Chief called me a knucklehead earlier. Wait, or was it a bonehead? Blockhead? Brickhead? I don't think you should worry about that. It's pretty much just his catchphrase at this point. Oh, that's right. He called me a half-wit. I let out a sigh. Hide kept grinning as usual, but I didn't come here to have fun today. I get that, but don't you think you'll scare any potential customers away standing here upside down like this? Maybe, but we don't get any customers anyway, so... I can tell that too. The office looked like a hurricane swept through it, so most customers would have probably run away without an upside-down weirdo greeting them. My arm's going numb. Shinji, what should I do? Huh? Why are you asking me? Wah. Ouch. Are you okay? Yeah, thanks. You. Hide took my hand and finally stood up. Want some coffee? We only got instant that's past the expiration date, though. No, thanks. Where's the chief? He left earlier. To the horse races, I think. I see. You need him? That's a first. Yeah. I gave him an obviously suspicious nod, but Hide didn't display any interest. He stretched his shoulders, lowering himself on the guest sofa and looked up at the ceiling. Silence ensued. I could hear the hustle and bustle of the station through the thin walls. Your boss went out gambling in the middle of the day? Is this agency really alright? I don't know, but the chief said that the consanguinity research or whatever was going fine. Do you actually get paid? I get an allowance. I fell silent, but he gave me a reassuring smile. I don't really need much money. Being allowed to sleep here is enough. He pointed to the sofa by the wall that had a 3-year-old looking ragged blanket on it. Do you wash that blanket? You can wash those things? I think I'll go home for today. Okay. Do you want me to call when the chief comes back? After a slight pause, I shook my head. I'll come again tomorrow. See you then. Just around a random corner, a monster appeared out of nowhere. I didn't stop. I made a point to keep going at my previous pace. It was best to act as though I couldn't see them. I got obsessed with them for a while after Madoka's death, but they didn't matter anymore. They were a disgusting eyesore. No different from cockroaches that could appear anywhere. I continued to walk. The distance between us shrunk. The monster turned to me as though trying to figure out who I was. I couldn't tell if that was even its face. Its body looked gooey and slippery. It didn't seem to have any definitive body parts. I couldn't make out any eyes, nose, or even mouth. There were vague cavities reminiscent of those features. I mean, it looks like it has teeth, for Christ's sakes. The same applied to the arms and legs. It just had structures that kind of looked like they could be limbs. Those monsters looked like clay figures made by little children. A group of Sakura Gaoka Academy students appeared from around the corner. They wouldn't notice the deformed thing even though it was right in front of their eyes. The girls walked towards me, chattering carefully, giving me a light nod as our eyes met. See ya, Fukigami? Yeah, see ya. I didn't recognize her, but it seemed like she was one of my classmates. Hey, who was that? Huh? Just a guy from my class. Seriously? Can you introduce us later? What? No way. I observed the monster out of the corner of my eye, trying not to look at it directly. It slowly crawled along the street, but then its body twisted. Shinji. I broke into a dash. I'd leave them alone when they disappeared toward a random direction, and there was nothing I could do if I caught up, but... Huh? My classmate turned around in surprise. For a moment, I thought she saw it too, but it seemed like that wasn't the case after all. The monster had disappeared already. No way. I took a deep breath and looked closely at everyone's faces one by one. They looked at me somewhat taken aback. Fukigami? What is it? Sorry, not gonna scream into the microphone. What? What's going on? The monster slipped past us, gliding through as though gliding along the sky. Fukigami, do you really think it's a good idea to go there? I ignored the worried classmates and followed the monster. It wasn't my business, but I couldn't shake off a bad feeling crawling in my skin. These wounds that will not heal. Bruh. The fuck is this dude? Okay, hi. The passerby scattered. In the center of a scene, a man waved a knife around. Screwed up. Guy must be on drugs. You should run, man. Right. There was nothing for me to do if it was just a person causing a scene. I was about to heed their advice when... Well, that's not unsettling at all. On that fun little unsettling visage, I think I'm gonna... image, I guess, not really visage. I'm gonna end this episode, and next time, maybe we'll figure out what the fuck that's about. Anyway, I hope to see you all there.